Thank you. Even though I haven't ordered, I don't see it. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
okay, good evening, everyone.
There's a problem.
Good to go?
Right, good.
Oh, there's a problem, because I'm like, I didn't see certain things.
It's fine now, it looks like.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I am the chair of the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. We're going to start at 7:00 p.m. I'm going to ask the rest of the committee to, huh? Oh, okay, I number 7:00 p.m., 7:01 p.m. on February 10th, 2025. Please, I'm asking the committee, the rest of the committee to introduce themselves.
Jeanette Wilson, co-chair.
Rich Reynoso, committee member.
Susan Perez, committee member.
Okay, so I've been asked to read the conduct statement. I know I'm gonna try my best.
You want me to do it?
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Okay.
Gotta take off the glasses. Okay. Community Board 11 meetings must be held in a professional and hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to members of the public, Community Board 11, and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during the Community Board 11 meeting and may result in the individual or individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace and the appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, the person may be muted or expelled for the remainder of the meeting. Repeated violations by the same person or group of people may result in further action by the community board. All public speakers must address the full board or the committee with their concerns. Electioneering for a position other than an officer of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings pending review by the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Respect the equality, diversity, and privacy of all persons by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by actively discouraging it. Disseminating false information is prohibited. Okay, there goes the reading of the conduct statement. I sent the meeting minutes. I motion that we accept the meeting minutes. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion is passed. Okay, so now we will go to the vote for discussion of recommendation for case 1116 with Robert Press and 1117 with Grace Mamaro. Sorry if I destroyed it. Sorry. Okay. So let's have a discussion. For case 1116, what is the recommendation? Okay, so I'm going to start. So in the part of where Jeremy W. is included in the case, I motion that we move Jeremy's discussion, or because the case was unanimously voted that it was in Robert Press's favor. I recommend that Jeremy's section be moved to the executive board. So anything, because remember, anything discussion with employees, we do not handle here at this committee level. Do we agree?
Yes.
Motion that we move the part on in terms of case 1116 regarding Jeremy W. to the executive board. So what I'm asking,
Motion to.
second motion,
I second.
Any upset?
I'm abstaining.
You're abstaining?
I'm
Okay.
abstaining also.
Okay. So that's 2 and 2. It has, I mean, that's the policy. The policy is that anything dealing with staff, if there's an action against staff, it has to go to the executive board to be reviewed. We cannot review staff sanctions or anything.
I have to recuse myself because I'm on the executive board. That's why.
But you're voting to move it to the executive.
No, I'm voting, I'm abstaining.
No, the vote is for Jeremy's section of the complaint to be moved to the executive.
Okay, I'm saying I have no opinion.
No.
Yeah. But you three can decide.
So
Okay.
I do have a question because the complaint form references complaints against staff, board members, et cetera.
Correct.
So is that something that needs to be reevaluated then? Because if the ethics committee is going to hear a complaint
Mhm.
about a staff member,
Mhm,
but then they're not going to make a recommendation
mhm.
and leave it up to the executive board, is that a process that we need to reevaluate?
I don't think so, because I think you have to give the community a chance to express what they need to express. And but they also know in part of the policy, which we voted on 2 years ago, that anything, we voted in favor of it, so if anything further action, any actions need to be handled at executive level.
So the motion was to move, to kick it up to the executive board, but,
There's 2 abstentions.
right,
Okay, but I'm just gonna move it because
Can
that's
I
the policy, that's the process.
state why I abstained?
Sure.
So the reason that I abstained is because if we have no governance over an employee, then I'm not comfortable with all of the discussion that took place at the last meeting. Because if we have no governance over an employee, we should not have entertained all of the conversation that took place. I also questioned at the last meeting why this was a complaint, but the response was very much off topic.
Mhm.
So I
Right,
I'm
but you're,
abstaining because I don't feel,
but I think I need to, I think I need to readdress what you're voting for. You're voting for, we heard the cases. That's what our job is, to hear the cases, let the community speak and put out what they are stating is their issue. Okay, that's what our job is. But one of the issues we are in favor of that has to do with an employee. Now, according to the policy that we voted on 2 years ago, now, once we vote that yes, that it was in favor of the complainant, now that kicks up automatically to the executive board to review. Because that's an employee issue.
so does that go to the borough president? Or does it
That's
go-
up to the executive board. If they want to not deal with it, they can do that.
Madam Chair, can I say something? It's my complaint.
I'm sorry, Bob, but we are in recommendation mode.
All
Sorry.
right, I'll wait for the gavel to say.
Okay, perfect.
I will just let my abstention stand.
Okay, so I'm moving, as a chair, I'm moving, as per policy, I'm moving the section on Jeremy for case 1116 to the executive board to review. And I would like, Bob, you had statements or anything like that, please email them to me so that I can forward it to the executive board.
But, well, Madam Chair, I don't recognize this executive board. There is no minutes that were approved of the June meeting.
Okay, sorry,
where I
we
can
can't
help.
bring that up now because I have nothing to do with this
And
right now.
it looks like I'm gonna have to sue this board because I.
Okay, point of order.
Okay,
Point of
sorry.
order.
I'm sorry, Bob.
And I'm leaving.
Okay, I'm trying to help you here, Bob. I'm trying to help.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, in terms of Deborah, in terms of Robert Press's case, what is the recommendation? My recommendation is that Deborah just takes a watch privacy. That's my recommendation. Any other recommendations?
I'm not so sure it was a privacy issue, or a confidentiality issue. It might simply be maybe a further education on social media policy for board members.
So what would you like her to take? Would you like her to take a class? You want her to, what would you, just read the policy of social media? What's your recommendation?
So the privacy training, who would provide that? And then, this is just asking questions.
Yeah.
Social media, it's reading, or are we going to have a training? And who would provide that? Do we have access to that?
That is, we ended up with the same situation in the past with, I think it was diversity training, and nothing ever came of it because DCAS, we don't get like the free trainings through DCAS like staff does.
Mhm.
So it left us basically up in the air.
You only get the one, such a.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hear two things, so I'm gonna motion that, that one of the recommendations is privacy video training, like the YouTube, whatever, just let us know that you took it. Any seconds on that?
Second.
Okay, so privacy training video and social media reading the policy. And she can just sign it, that she read it,
Well, that was already signed.
and she can sign again. Read it again and sign it. I motion for her to read the social media policy again and sign it.
Second.
Second, okay, so it is the recommendation of this committee for case 1116 that Jeremy Warnicki's part of the case will be kicked up to the executive board, and that Deborah K, sorry, I don't want to mess up your name, will review a privacy video training and read the social media policy again and sign it. All in, any abstentions?
Doing it together?
Yeah.
You're doing it together?
Mhm.
Can you do it separate, please?
Separate? Okay.
Because I abstained on the first one. I don't want to kill the second one by abstention.
Okay, all right, so recommendation number one is that Deborah K reviews a privacy training video.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Done. That's been moved. Motion granted. Okay, so, second request is for social media policy to be reviewed again and signed again.
And I second
Submitted
that.
to the committee. Second, and, any other votes, any abstentions, any no's? Okay, motion passed, okay.
Now, I do believe that everyone needs to review confidentiality issues,
Mhm.
privacy issues, social media issues across the board.
Okay.
This whole situation
Mhm.
is laughable, and it's a terrible, terrible reflection on us as a board. I don't think this should have happened, period. I understand, and I'm sorry if I'm getting on the soapbox. However, while I fully acknowledge that Mr. Press set in motion a series of events,
Mhm.
I think that it's important for Debbie to understand that you should not have taken the bait. You know what I mean? Like, I personally was following that entire thread, and I had to stick my hands in my pocket, sit on them, tie them up, whatever I had to do to keep from commenting, engaging, or even getting into it. Because I think part of what's happened here has been a deliberate effort to, I don't know, cause disruption, distraction, and derail us from doing work that we need to do. So I'm asking everybody, not just you, Debbie, but I'm asking everyone, and it's something that has to be discussed at the full board again, because this isn't the first time that something personal or an email or whatever gets, sent, texted, screenshotted to somebody. I think as somewhat professional people, we should be doing much better than this.
So can I suggest, or that at exec board this month, we have copies of
Mhm.
what we want everyone to
Or
read?
full board?
For the full board.
Mhm.
Might I suggest that annual trainings might be a really good idea? Because I do agree with what Cynthia said, is that sometimes we get so caught up in things that it does distract from the work that we're here to do,
Mhm.
and it's unfortunate.
But that's what we voted on. It's just never executed.
Yeah.
We voted on this several times.
As Cynthia had mentioned, we don't get the free trainings from all the things like the other two. I'm totally in favor of annual trainings, but we just have to keep in mind that that's gonna have to come out of our budget.
But doesn't
So
this,
we'll have to make sure that we take the ones that we really wanna have annually and put that as part of.
but doesn't the city,
I'm totally for it.
yeah, but doesn't the city provides free ones? Like, I know they
Two
have,
employees, but they don't give them to us. There is I think it's sexual harassment. and
Yeah, that
training
was free,
guide
right?
That we are mandated to take.
yeah.
But anything other than that, we may have to pay, which is fine. But again, we just have to make sure we put that as part of our budget.
But we could,
I have a
purchase a
question.
video, could purchase.
I have a question.
Oh, we get a politician to pay for it. I was gonna say the same thing.
Sorry, we as the members of the board have very
I
diverse.
can't,
I'm sorry, the members of the board have very diverse backgrounds. And some of us in our professional capacities have done these trainings and have facilitated these trainings and have trained the trainers. Is it appropriate to pull from within for resources as well?
if you have something that's been put together by a company that you have access to, then if it's approved by the chair of the board, then yeah, we could probably utilize that. But I think it would be best if it wasn't put together by a member of the board, but maybe put together by an outside company that we can utilize.
No, that's a good idea. Okay, but just know that we voted on it, that we were gonna have annual trainings
Yeah.
on privacy, confidentiality, on diversity, and we have not executed it. So I just let that out there now, I can bring it up at executive. Okay. Okay. All right, in terms of case 1117.
I do want to say.
Oh, sure.
With regards to this particular case and just the entire back and forth,
Mhm.
I do want it noted
Mhm.
that this spiraled out of control, and it went from a simple thing about somebody posting something false, being called on it by a board member, to it becoming a breach of privacy, to then somebody making a complaint, to then in certain circles walking back the complaint,
Mhm.
outside parties getting involved, and situations like that,
Mhm.
like this, are best handled by us. I don't think that there should have been outside parties, kind of weighing in, making suggestions or appeals for whatever,
Mhm.
because it puts us in a bad position. So, that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so case 1117, Grace Maravano. I'm gonna destroy this name. All right, sorry, and I destroyed my own name, so. Okay, so in terms of that case, does anybody have any recommendations of next steps?
If I may,
Mhm.
I wasn't notified of the complaint. The complaint is against me. I prepared a response and I would like to be given the opportunity to share that response with the committee before any recommendations are made.
Oh, well, the thing is, this case, there was no action.
According to the thing that I received, the complaint is against Deborah Wallach and Veronica Castro, it says so on the form.
Well,
And I think.
Grace
can I-
changed her
Can I remove
on that day. Yes.
I was very careful because I didn't want to go on memory. I went back and I watched the entire video. And at 2 points, and at one, I asked point blank, should we pause? And do you want to resubmit? Because Grace was maintaining that it was for Debbie and that she would then resubmit later to you. And the reason that we proceeded was because at 2 points, she verified that that was the complaint she wished to move forward on, and that she was going to resubmit a separate one.
But the
Directed
form that I
towards you.
received actually says the complaint is against Debbie and myself. Not
Right,
only
but-
that, I am mentioned multiple times within this complaint, and I would like to address those allegations.
But the case is over. That's the problem.
The case can't be over if nobody was able to respond to it.
But I understand what you're saying, but the case was voted on. If you want to state
She
your.
was voted on to move forward with it, which is fine, but I
No.
still should be able to address it.
No, we voted on that we were in favor of it unanimously. And that what you can do though, I have an option for you. You can go to the executive board meeting, because remember, we are recommending body, we're just making recommendations. You can go to the executive board meeting, leadership meeting, and you can state your statement. But we already voted on it. I don't want to keep going back and forth, so you can
For the
submit your
record, I
statement.
think it's unfair. That's very unfair, and I
For
don't
the
think
record?
that,
Well,
no, Debbie, no.
It's not unfair because
It's unfair. and I
no,
think-
because it's
I don't
on
think
video.
that
It was on
this
video that we
committee is
voted on.
handling Things the way that it should be.
Well,
That's just my-
no, we're handling
Because
it,
I
we're
was
handling
not-
it the way the
I was
policy is.
never notified that I was mentioned in any complaint.
Right, you weren't
And I should have been.
you were not notified because Grace stated she only had the complaint against.
Grace stated
Deborah.
that at the meeting, I was never notified prior to that, that there was a complaint that was received that I had been named in. I was never notified of that, so I
Because
did
you
not have
Because
the
you weren't a
opportunity.
respondent. You were no longer a respondent in the case. But like I said, the option that you have, I'm giving you an option. You can go to the leadership meeting and plead your case. You can state, I would like to make a statement here, because they're going to make the decision to move it to the board.
So is this the full committee's decision or?
Reason
Yes.
to move it forward.
Yep,
Is 100% unfair. 100%.
and there's gonna be things that are gonna be unfair.
We didn't vote.
I'm sorry,
We didn't vote.
on the recommendation.
Yes.
No. What recommendation would you like to do? Yes.
Before we move to recommendation, I am asking if I can make one comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. As someone who has repeatedly asked that we follow our own policies and procedures,
Mm-hmm.
my only,
I'm happy.
as someone who has repeatedly asked that we follow our own policies and procedures, my only issue with this
Mm-hmm.
is that if we have a case where both Debbie and Veronica are mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
even, and I'm the one that stated it, and I'm the one that's after the hour and a half watching the video again, that Grace did change her mind when she was here. My question is towards procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Should Veronica have been notified because she was on the original form? That's
No.
my
The
question.
reason why she was not notified was because Grace changed who the complainant or respondent, who the respondent is. And we based our decision on that.
When did
If we,
the
if we,
change happen?
if it happened, 2 months ago.
I think
Two months?
that's the
Yeah,
the
it.
issue, is that
But it
Grace
cha-
submitted the complaint on whatever date it was. The committee met whenever it met, and in that space of time, Veronica saying that
My
she
name
was
was on
never.
it.
And
wasn't
I,
notified.
and like
I heard
like I
Tracy-
said, I'm not changing, I'm not voting, we're not doing that. I gave you an option. You can go to the committee for the leadership And because they're gonna vote on it, and you can request to make your statement there. That's the option I'm giving you, because we already voted, it took 3 months. We already voted, we heard everything, we all agreed to the same thing. We cannot keep going back and forth on items, or else we will not be able to move things forward in the community. We need to move this forward. We are just a recommending body. We cannot, count your life. We're not do
Okay.
anything to your life. You can make your decision, you can.
For your own
move birth.
admission, this took 3 months. Why within the 3 months while my name was on the complaint, was I not notified?
Like I
Until
said,
she took it off
she removed your
at
name
the meeting
from,
last month.
right, she
Prior
removed your
to
name,
that,
and then
I was on it.
you requested to see it. You didn't say, hey, I'm gonna make a statement. I would like to be included. Nothing was ever stated in the last 3 months from you.
Oh, that's not true because the
Yes,
email
you
I
never
sent
said
you
it.
before the request
Right, and I sent it
said
to
I
you.
would like to.
Ladies. And I sent it to you. I followed, I sent you.
But
this
Cynthia,
request.
you also received.
I am not
email.
gonna
I think
continue.
email
We're not gonna continue. We're moving
stated I
on. What is the
wanted to be able to
recommendation?
respond.
Excuse me, excuse-
Madam Chair?
1 second. We're moving on. Thank you. Go ahead.
At the last meeting, I said I was going to refile, I was gonna file a
Correct.
complaint against Veronica. I haven't had a chance to do so. I will be doing that, so Veronica will have a chance to respond to that.
Okay.
As far as what happened the last meeting, I've been waiting since last year for this. I've had
Yes.
to endure the being demonized and slung through the mud by certain people from the Allerton International Emergency Association.
Okay, well, we gotta stop. I'm
All
sorry,
right,
Green.
but my ask, when you asked me, what did I want to see happen? I said I want Debbie removed from the board.
That's not.
That
So-
was what my ask was.
Right, so
okay?
right now, we are going, based on the evidence of the case, the committee is going to make the recommendation of what occurs next. So, committee, what recommendation do you have for case 1117? And it's only Deborah. Okay.
Can I ask? I don't even understand what did the complainant want besides removal from the board? Because I think obviously that's a tough, no one's gonna say yes to that. Right, so what? I don't wanna, seems like we're gonna just dismiss this in terms of an action. I don't see anything that would demand some sort of repercussion for Debbie Kay, right? The removal was a tough ask. Should have been a little lower, to be honest.
I give you a suggestion then?
You have another suggestion?
Yes.
Why does she continue to be able to speak?
Why would you able to continue to speak when you're supposed to be getting?
Guys, order.
She's the one that made the complaint.
Right.
So we're going to hear her. And like I said, the committee is going to make the decision on the recommendation. Go ahead.
If the committee is not going to commit to removing her from the board, I think there should be an example set. However, I understand where you're coming from. Then I would suggest that Debbie has to give a public apology at the next full board meeting, stating what she did and that she apologizes and will never do it again. And that would be, instead of her being removed from the board, she needs to have a public apology and state what she did wrong and how she will never do it again.
Committee,
Chair, I need you to,
make a motion?
to decide what you think should go, because
I
I can't allow folks to chime in on those.
no, I don't know if all of you are going through the process.
We've done this before.
I'm just
Yeah,
asking,
sorry.
when we're going through our renewal of our applications, and in one of those questions, it says, are you part of an organization that may, right?
Yes.
I don't have the application with me because I carry so much paper with me, but, I don't think it's,
Interest is what you're thinking.
Correct.
I I don't see a removal. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
And
I
that's,
just want to state for the
Right.
record, I just want, because I want to make sure people are clear. I just want to state for the record, it is not new that this committee does take recommendations from the complainant if they want. We have done it before, we have voted on it before. Thank you. Go ahead.
what I wanted to say is at best, by reviewing the tapes and everything that were mentioned, what we have here was possibly a conflict of interest.
I'm gonna say possibly, I think it was. And I think that that's what needs to be reviewed, because I told Cynthia I stepped down from the education department to find out I can't be a chair or a co-chair. So I literally stepped down because I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I work for the United Federation of Teachers. So that is my conflict. So we, as every individual on this board, need to know that we can't step over these lines if we're gonna be on this board.
Right. Okay.
So
Can you explain what the conflict of interest is so that people are aware?
my conflict of interest. or
No,
yours?
in this particular
Oh,
case.
okay.
What's my conflict of interest?
Hold on, Debbie.
Being part of another organization, this is what I'm getting from here, that you
So I can't attend the meeting.
you can attend a meeting.
May I, for one, make clarification? Debbie has not been a board member of the Allerton International Merchants Association. She simply attends meetings and helps out volunteering for events. She is not a board member of AIM. I am. She is not. She has no conflict of interest whatsoever when it comes to AIM.
Okay, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Right. My suggestion is whenever AIM is brought up in transportation, that she recuse herself. That's
Okay.
simple.
That's what should have been done.
So that's what I'm going through the fabric
In the
there. I
future.
think that's
Like that.
that's an easy one.
Okay, but that means anybody who attends any other organization meeting.
But
I attend
should be
Hold on.
Lawrence Park meeting.
I hear you.
I gotta
Let me- so
recuse
here-
myself.
Here the issue is that
Parade?
this went through ethics and there was a complaint and you were found guilty of the complaint. So I think the easiest way to get out of this is.
No, I didn't get to speak, but I had the flu, which was not expressed to the rest of you guys.
Speak at the leadership.
So
You are
I
welcome
think
to
whenever
speak.
AIM is brought up, just recuse yourself and that's the easiest thing. Because
I
obviously,
attend AIM, I attend Morris
no,
Park. I
my
attend
question is when
South
AIM comes up
Parkway.
on transportation,
I'm sorry.
just recuse yourself.
Then why am I on transportation?
Okay, I'm sorry, but this conversation is over.
Anyway,
We
that's
are
my
making
suggestion. It's a
recommendation.
pretty.
So I would like to motion for in the future, this is only recommendations. Only recommendations. I would like to motion on Rich's recommendation that in the future, that Debbie K does anytime anything to deal with AIM, she recuses herself.
In the transportation.
In the transportation committee.
Okay.
I think that's kind of dicey.
I mean,
I think.
Well, let us vote. Let's vote. Let's.
I think it's
let's
dicey
vote.
because basically we're saying you can't have outside
Right.
interests. Like, I'll give you an example.
Debbie,
I am in a personal relationship with a particular person. That particular person had an interest in presenting to us. Because of even the remotest possibility that there could be a conflict of interest there, I called the conflict of interest board. I presented the situation. They gave me their recommendation. And that was that, and I got clarity. I think that
Do you want to pick it up to the conflict of interest board? You want to keep this case to them?
I think I know what they'll say, because if she's not a member, I'm not a person.
She's a member, she's not a board member.
she's not a member.
Attendee.
Only
Right,
have,
okay.
yeah, she
I
attends.
understand you
That's all the
recusing
time.
yourself on education,
Education.
but that's your employment. That's your employment. You may benefit or something like that. Me attending AIM, Morris Park, Parkway, any of those meetings, there's no benefit of me. There's no benefit to me. I'm just basically being part of the community and passing on the information.
I'm sorry, the committee is discussing. Go ahead, go ahead.
Based on what we reviewed of the tape that transpired at that transportation, at the very least, I believe Debbie should have disclosed her what relationship to that committee, because it would have presented more of a balance. You have to have transparency. I don't think that she should be barred or
Mhm.
recused or any of the above.
Okay.
But if you have some skin in the game,
Mhm.
then you should disclose that,
Mhm.
especially if you're voting to stop the full board from voting and making a decision, so that the full board has all of the information and can make then an informed decision. And I believe that's what did not happen,
Okay.
and that's why there was grounds for the complaint.
Disclose,
have to-
discuss, don't vote.
Yes. Disclose.
And
That's,
recuse yourself.
that's the part that I saw missing. And that's the only part that I saw missing.
Okay, so what is the recommendation? We kick it up to, do I make a motion to kick this up to conflict of interest? Do we make a motion for an apology?
I'm fine. I motion to kick this up to conflict of interest.
I second.
Wonderful,
I want that.
beautiful. So case 1117.
But the motion, the negative.
Oh, sorry,
Yes.
motion passed. There's no, abstentions,
No,
no, no's. Okay, so motion passed.
unanimous.
We were going to kick this case to conflict of interest board for them to tell us what they would like us to do.
And I think adding an addendum to this is that whatever we get from conflict of interest board,
Mhm.
we let the entire full board know so that everyone's on notice.
Okay,
Because
so
I think an absence of knowledge is what's driving us in these situations
Yes.
every so often.
agree with that, Rich.
And anything that we're passing up, we pass up all the materials we have and
Yeah.
anything that we received, so that they have full information,
Okay, so
to make
motion,
their decision.
I'm gonna do the motion again. You have multiple things going on.
I would suggest you don't do the motion again. We
No,
already.
the
No,
motion
it's fine.
was decided.
No, but you have addendums.
But you'll know,
No,
no, the addendum is
I would think that
whenever you send everything out.
It's automatically. what
Yeah.
we do.
No,
I'm just
you
stating
gotta-
it for
you have
the
to state
record.
yep, that's what I'm saying, you have to state it for the record. Motion is that we are kicking case 1117, the logistics of the case, to the conflict of interest board. Once we receive the information back from them, we will disclose it to the full board.
Yep.
Most,
Second.
1 second.
Second.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passed for the record, okay? Because sometimes we do that and we say all these addendums and nothing happens. So I want it for the record. Okay, thank you. Okay. So we also received a case, vote, 1118 against with, Ryan Bartlett and Roxanne Delgado. For the record. Are we going to hear this case next month in March? I motion that we hear case 1118.
Hello, I didn't send anything in, so why was my name mentioned?
Oh, your name is mentioned because you are a respondent on the case and
I never,
will-
I never sent any complaint though. How is that possible?
I should be allowed to speak out of turn.
Ryan Bartlett,
Excuse
the
me,
case is against you.
we're not up to together.
No, I understand. I just want her to know because she's gonna be receiving an email if we vote on that we're gonna hear this in March. I just want her to know. Okay, so. Like, I want to make sure there's no issues with clarity in terms
Not
of.
even on the board. How is that possible?
Ms. Delgado, I answered your question.
But
Thank you.
that's not legal what you're doing.
Ms. Delgado, please. Thank you. Okay, are we going to hear case 1118 in March? I motion that we hear case 1118 in March. Is anyone second?
Second.
Okay.
I'm opposed.
Oh,
And will
And
you
I
send me
want to say
something in
something
email?
about this
Okay.
case.
okay, go ahead.
We can't take anyone from the public to ethics, by the way. It's in the bylaws. I wish we would have read it before. We could have discussed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can't. I looked it up. I mean, I get it, but we can't. We could take each other, which is interesting enough, and they can take us. We can't take the public.
I don't know.
Where?
It's in the bylaws and their ethics and disciplinary. Yeah, right?
Thank you.
Okay, give me 1 second.
That meeting canceled to the line.
You could pull up the bylaws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vital, because I was gonna come.
That's a new one.
The complaint has to go to the BP though?
I just know we can't watch, we can't.
Okay, but I just wanna make sure that I
So,
can write it, because I have to log it in.
okay.
So this case will go to the BP's office. Okay,
Well, Ryan would have to.
yeah, that's fine, but I'll let him know.
And I want to,
Ryan is on right now.
for the record, it's in our bylaws under ethics and disciplinary. We can't take the public to.
Okay. I'm gonna read it,
Yeah,
because we
please.
did a whole, like. It's
Yeah, it's just
For the
for
record,
everyone who's logged
Yeah,
on.
just
if
so
we
that I
just
can
read
just
it.
clarify it, yeah. Okay, no problem. Okay. All right, so now,
Is
Wait,
Rich
don't you
gonna
have-
read it?
I'm gonna have to find it. Give me a second.
we have to find it. Oh, okay, you wanna talk about it? Okay.
But we have to say it out loud.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, 1 second.
I usually walk with
Yeah, you said.
But
I love
Bylaws one.
today I carried so much.
I've got it, Rich, if you want me to read
No,
it.
I got it. All right, I'm gonna read it. Ethics and disciplinary. To initiate review of complaints lodged by board members, members of the public, agency personnel, and non-union employees of the community board against Community Board 11, its individual members and or staff. Alleged violations of the city's EEO policy shall be addressed at the EEO officer of the Bronx Borough President's office in accordance with the city's EEO policy and procedure. If the community board cannot review a complaint due to a conflict of interest of the committee, or after due deliberation is unable to come to a reasonable resolution of the merits, the complaint shall be referred to the Bronx Borough President's office for review. Thank you for that. That's it. So again, the line that matters here is,
Can you send that to me?
yeah, to initiate review of complaints lodged by board members, members of the public, agency personnel, and non-union employees of the community board against Community Board 11, its individual members and or staff. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so what we're gonna do with this case,
We could
I'm going to
like-
call the borough president's office and ask them for the documentation, just so that in the future, we are clear, okay?
So I'm gonna send this to the.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I appreciate it. Okay,
And I'll say this just for the record, it puts us in a tough spot. 'Cause
Yeah.
We could just get
yeah, but let's,
every month.
yeah, let's get it in writing so that it's clear. All right, perfect. All right, next, we are going to go to the gallery.
What about gallery check first?
Give me 1 second. I have to see something. I'm trying to see something.
I think you're just going, especially since somebody signed up to speak.
Well, on to example.
Give me one moment, please. Jeremy, do you have anybody registered to speak this evening?
We did have Cynthia Prisco who registered in advance. I know somebody called in earlier. They said they were gonna register.
Okay. And who?
Cynthia's here.
I'm right here.
Okay. Okay.
Man,
One
Right
moment, one moment. Let me organize this.
Hold on. So you want to start with her?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Yes.
He said, do you want to start?
Cynthia Prisco is here. So if you want to start with her, and then after her,
and
I
then
do
I will
have
start.
April.
Yeah. You have who?
April,
Oh,
she
April?
was sitting behind you.
Okay. You let us speak? Okay.
And I don't see anybody else to have registered.
Okay, wonderful.
So I guess
Make
there's a
sure-
lot of people with their hands up. We can, I guess, turn
And then
to,
I'll go to the phone, okay? Okay.
you mind if I just so that I'm like, you guys can see me?
Oh, yeah.
To the back.
Yeah, no problem.
Take time.
Yeah.
Time.
Oh, sorry.
Hi. I want to be able to address how things have gone and give recommendations on how it could go in the future, because honestly, it's been said before, this was an embarrassment. This did not have to go like this. And I think to the effect that even the point that it was brought up that perchance I should not even be speaking here as a member of the public, that should be distributed equitably. There are all these other predicate cases where that was not considered at all. Even more than that, going just off of the agenda minutes, it lists number. It does not have a potential responsible party. It does not have a potential grievance party. How can someone know that they have the opportunity to participate if they're not even made remotely aware of it? How do they have the chance, and especially in terms of, I will disclose right now. I'm her daughter. I'm disclosing. I'm also a city employee, but I do not want to disclose the specifics of that because I don't want it to be weighed negatively or positively in this case. I don't want that to interpret how you take my opinions. With that in mind, I asked my mother, did you receive notice about any of these things said against you? I even asked her. I told her to check her emails. I told her to check every which way from Sunday. She did not get the chance to actually address the complaints in a timely manner. She received a notice on a Sunday night for the November meeting. My mother wakes up at 4 a.m. every day. She did not have the opportunity to request off from work. She did not have the adequate notice. If you do not have the adequate notice, if you're not following these adequate notice rules, they were put there for a reason. It's to be fair. It is to allow people to speak to their employer, for example, to ask, oh, hey, can I maybe not work today? Can I change my route? Can I do a trip instead? Something else. If you're not following all of these existing procedures, how are you able to actually conduct this review appropriately, respectfully? How is that fair? And how is it that, for example, everyone else in this room was able to speak and I am the only one that registered?
Time. Sorry, you have 2 minutes.
May I request additional time?
We have the day after, we have other people to speak.
In
Okay.
fairness, I asked to speak.
Yeah, and
And
I
I
gave
was-
you 2 minutes. I gave you 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes for everyone.
Fair,
So
but
that's what we stated.
may, can I,
There's
hold
other
up.
people,
If
that
I may,
would like to
if I
speak.
may,
No, we have to stop.
if I
now.
may, I just want to ask if
We
I
have to
can.
stop. We have to
request-
stop.
hold
You
up.
got your 2 minutes.
This is
I
gonna be
have to
something
stop.
reasonable, I promise. I
We have
just
to
want to
stop.
ask if I can follow up with you.
We can have a call. You can talk after everyone else.
I just want to be able to ask if I can follow up. That's what I want to end on. I want to ask if I could follow up with you. I
With
want to be able
me?
to have a conversation with the committee, if I
The
may.
committee. Okay. Let everybody else speak and then you
That's
can come
completely
back.
fine. I just want to be able to have.
Listen to the rules except for some people, because
Okay,
that's what it's looking like tonight.
okay,
Who's running the
let's-
meeting today?
let's stop.
I
Okay,
also would like to speak in the gallery.
okay, 1 moment.
I'll do the time.
Thank you. Thank you. So you would like to speak in the after, okay.
Who's next?
So let's Grace speak because she's here
Grace.
and then we'll go to the phone.
No, Grace. then-
Sorry, I just asked.
Right,
Yeah,
this-
Veronica.
Veronica first, because she.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Veronica.
We'll start here.
No, April decided not to
Please.
speak.
Hold on, let me do time. All right, you can begin.
So I understand that the committee is based on a lot of following the rules and everything. But if my name was on a complaint and it was received 3 months ago, why was I not made aware of that complaint and given the opportunity to respond? Now, if the complainant changed her mind in the January meeting, up until the moment she changed her mind, my name was on that complaint. I should have been notified. I should have been given the opportunity to respond. I sent an email to Naomi after the meeting, asking to be given a copy of the complaint so that I would have the opportunity to respond. That is in the email. I was not told when I got the complaint that I would not have the opportunity to respond. I believe I should have had the opportunity to respond. I was in the complaint, I was mentioned in the complaint, and allegations were made against me. I think that it needs to be looked at. The committee needs to sit down and really look at what they're doing, because I don't believe that the rules that you have saying are in place are actually being adhered to. That's my recommendation to the committee.
Grace?
Go ahead, you have 2 minutes going.
So, Cynthia just admitted that Debbie was notified in November. Okay, now, I'm disappointed that the board, the committee did not, have my ask about Debbie. I mean, even the apology. the fact that she is so adamant about not even apologizing just goes to show how disrespectful she is. And the fact that I had to endure public humiliation because of her and Veronica, and I've waited since last year when I filed this last year. It came to light this year, but I filed it last year, so she got notified in November. Anyway, I think when you send up to the commitment, wherever you send it,
Executive board?
yes,
Conflict of interest.
the conflict of interest board, right, that you also send the fact that if she's not gonna be removed, then I would like them to consider her, making her apologize publicly. I think that's fair, since I was publicly humiliated, and it's only fair. I have to say.
Thank you.
Next to speak,
You didn't ask, did you ask to speak?
I would like to speak, yes, that's why I came.
You got 2
You
minutes?
can't, well,
What?
we're doing gallery.
This is gallery.
This is gallery, I'd like to speak.
Okay.
Hand raised, or you know.
Yeah, so, I mean,
2 minutes.
we usually
You
do,
got 2 minutes.
we usually do room first and then online,
Yes.
right?
All right, so Debbie first,
Yeah.
then Jeremy,
Oh, Jeremy.
and there's someone, and Nicole, Jeremy.
Okay, when wait, I'm upset. Okay. I asked who wanted to speak. I apologize, I did not recognize you. I asked who wanted to speak. Who is speaking in this room? 1, 2, 3.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Deborah.
2 minutes start.
When Cynthia said I was notified in November, she was referring to the Bob Press case, not to the Grace case. That I'm just clarifying that. That's number one. Number two, I never received either complaint until after January's full board, when I publicly had to state as such. I did not receive it. I did not receive 116 in November or prior to November's meeting. I did not receive 117 for January's meeting. And I also emailed for January, the reason why I was not here, I had the flu, as did half the world that particular week. People were just under the assumption I just wasn't showing up. I had the flu. And because I did not
60
have,
seconds.
I did not have neither complaint, how can I email a response to a complaint when I do not know what the complaint is?
That's it? 30 seconds.
Jeremy?
Go ahead, Jeremy. 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, so I have 5 questions. 4 of them, I'd like to have a response to. This one is food for thought. So, Ms. Pemberton, you said that complaints against staff, after the review by the committee, if it goes through, they get kicked to the executive board. It's a policy. I don't know if that policy is in writing.
Yes.
You know if it's in writing, where in writing it is.
We voted on it.
Can I finish, please?
Sure.
For the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I don't know why the committee voted tonight. And if it was necessary for the committee to vote tonight, the motion failed. So that's the first 2 questions. Also, when they vote to move forward, is it moving forward or found guilty? Because I heard found guilty or moving forward. So if I'm found guilty of something, I'd like to know what I'm found guilty of. Because this is more or less the food for thought question. If I was found guilty last month of doing my job, because 2 of the 4 members of the committee last month agreed that I was just doing my job. And also the last question, this one, leadership executive board. I heard, people being referred to the leadership committee or the executive board. Which one? After it passes the preliminary ethics committee. So that's it.
Okay, so in writing, it is complaints will be forwarded to the leadership committee. The complaint will be forwarded to the leadership committee.
Okay, not the executive. Thank you. That's in the complaint form?
Yes. No, it's not in complaint form. It's in our what we voted on in terms of process.
But so it's now, we're in writing then.
So it's not like in that, it's not codified like in bylaws, I think is what Jeremy's asking.
Yeah, or the complaint.
We made, the board unanimously voted for this process, and we are following the process. So,
What was your other question? What was your other questions? I'm sorry.
It's in the manual. So I mean,
we made a whole manual, we,
is that publicly?
events on it. Yeah, it's on video. It's on video several
Yeah, I
times.
understand, but if this is the process, shouldn't it be on our website?
You tell me,
I gave it to you.
you tell me, I mean,
Okay, but
you tell me.
I mean, I'm telling. I mean,
No, but I'm
tell me
saying-
it's a policy.
Right, but I'm just saying, you tell me, is it gonna be on our website?
If it's a policy,
We
yeah, I
submitted-
think it should.
We submitted it, we voted on it 2 years ago. So we requested for this information to be provided to the public. So if it wasn't done,
I mean, I think that
what,
to be
what,
fair
what,
to
what can I do?
your board
But
members,
it wasn't set.
staff, I think we should ensure it's there.
Anyway, I'm gonna move forward. Next person, you finish in 2
Yeah.
minutes?
Hold on, let me get ready.
Miguel?
Go.
I didn't get answered all the questions.
Miguel? Okay.
Waiting for it to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 second, sorry. Go.
Right, I just wanted to say that this is not a court. Okay, nobody's, like, it's really just a recommendation. Jeremy, you definitely did get the ethics manual, I wrote it. And
We
Chris
voted.
didn't put it up on, sorry, Naomi wrote it, but like, if it didn't get put on the website, it's not because you didn't get it. That's definitely, so if that didn't happen, then I would say that that's on you. Secondly, I mean, this whole like, I didn't get it, I didn't see it kind of thing. I think that, first of all, I know that at the full board, like months ago, Grace had said that her complaint was against Debbie. And then she was told by the board, this is not the place to bring it up. So to say that she didn't have any idea that it was going on is kind of. However, you know, we all have jobs and we all get sick and everything, but you know, people have the opportunity to at least, you know, send an email. Or, send a written response or something to that effect, and that didn't happen, so that's why I find this, I sat on the ethics committee, I know how long these things can go, it's ridiculous. If you're not on the ball, then you're gonna have to accept that, that the committee is not.
30 seconds.
I just think that, it's only fair to everybody else, all of our time is valuable. And so, that's all I have to say, thanks.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and I'm sorry, one more thing. This whole talking over everybody is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Everybody signed a piece of paper that said that, the code of conduct. You need to act like a professional, everybody. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're moving to the phone or the Zoom. I'm sorry, the WebEx. Roxanne Delgado, you're first.
2 minutes starts now, go.
Wait, don't say start now. I need 30 seconds warning first. And secondly, can you
What?
hear me?
Roxanne,
We can hear you.
your time starts
time-
now.
I
I'll
can't
give you a
hear
30
you.
second
That's what I'm
warning.
asking. And
Your
even
time
before I
started.
started, my time started. Can I start now?
You
Yes,
can start
absolutely.
now.
30-second warning. So I like to say that it's quite concerning that I received no notification. Nonetheless, you have no jurisdiction over the public. It's your ethics committee for your own self, including your board members, yourself, and your staff. You don't have any jurisdiction over the Community Board 11 district public members or the Bronx. So, I mean, I don't understand why that sounds common sense, but nonetheless, okay, I'm more concerned that you don't send notification. You decided to vote on something that I didn't even receive, and I was supposedly the respondent. That's very concerning, and it seems like a common thread that people are not receiving notification that they're respondents, and they're not able to provide their side of the story. So it's always 3 sides of the story. And secondly, my main concern is the fact that besides that not being done, unfortunately, there's people who don't want to take responsibility. They like to blame others. If you've been removed from the board, perhaps it's your own action instead of pointing fingers at people for removing you off the board. You're adults. I don't have the power to dictate to the BP who she should keep on the board, who should she reappoint, or who should she appoint. I wish I had that power. You're giving me too much credit or blame. So be adults and take responsibility for your own behavior. Stop pointing fingers at people trigger you, or you took the bait. You're adults. Most of you are at least over 40 or 50 years old. So please, follow your own code of conduct. Lead by example. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Diane?
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Diana?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, concerning complaints against the members of the public for their conduct at board meetings. That was the issue when I made my ethics complaint about the Just Home public hearing. So what I did was make the complaint about the fact that the code of conduct was not enforced by the board. Even though like the real underlying issue was the way that members of the public conducted themselves. So yes, I think the board does have jurisdiction over the public during their participation in meetings, and it's through the code of conduct that they do. And I think that maybe the board could think about ways to really enforce the code of conduct and make sure that members of the public are not creating a hostile situation. Because personally, I've had that happen at committee meetings, at full board meetings, where members of the public seem to be creating a hostile atmosphere.
30 seconds, Diana.
And I think that that's not good. So just encouraging the board to also please follow Robert's Rules of Order. In a committee meeting, you only speak to the chair. You address the chair and request to speak. You don't interrupt each other and go back and forth. It's all done through the chair.
Thank you.
Thanks.
F. Muniz. Mr. Muniz?
Hi,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, you got 2 minutes.
Hi. Yes, hi. I just have to touch on 2 issues right away. The first one was on case number 116 regarding the district manager. I mean, it really, the district manager followed his protocol. He gave information to one of the board members that board member requested. And frankly, he should not have been found against him and everything for following protocols. That's one. And everything regarding that issue. The person that supposedly did break the protocol was actually the board member. That's the one. I didn't find anything against the district manager. I'm gonna look into this more because he should not have been that should have been dismissed from the beginning against him. Again, I do not know him, just from going to board meetings, here and there, and calling the office a couple of times, and that's about it. But I find it unfair that they kept having his name with this case, moving forward when he should have been removed. The second part is, Mr. Reynoso did actually say something very important. You cannot bring charges in any ethics committee or even from the board against Roseanne. I believe her name's Roseanne Delgado. That was brought up against her and everything. You guys are looking into getting you guys in trouble and everything. You guys trying to prevent her from speaking her mind or anything like that. As long as she's not a threat or saying anything, fighting words, pretty much. She's allowed to say whatever hell she wants, and nobody can stop it. Whether you have ethics rules and everything, yes, we follow ethics rules. Well, she could even say, excuse my language now, she could even say shit in a meeting, and she's allowed to
Please,
say
no
it.
cursing, please. No cursing.
And that's what we're talking about. She's allowed to. Okay, so you gotta tread lightly, against people from the public.
Time's over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak on the WebEx? CC?
I'm sorry.
Jean?
Hi, everybody. This is Christine Culpepper de Ruiz. in case
2
people were
minutes, go.
wondering. I just want to say that I agree with Diana. I think that there is a responsibility here on the board to make sure that a lot of things are happening, but more importantly, that we're not allowing members of the public harass and malign, people on the board, which is quite prevalent in CD11. So, yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that we could be doing to simplify these processes. And I think that even though I may not agree with some of the people here a lot of the times, Grace did offer a very simple solution to the problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
I do have a question.
Okay, give me one second. Anyone else? Okay, so we're done with gallery. Chair?
So in terms of procedure, because what's been the recurrent theme tonight has been about notification in some way. What is the checks and balance that you have in place so like when you get a complaint, do you send it to Jeremy and the staff?
Yes.
You do. So when you got the complaints in question that didn't get to people, they go to Jeremy and the staff and then he forwards it?
What I do is I get the complaint, I review it to make sure that it goes with the voted upon 2 years ago statements of what a complaint is, which I did a presentation on. I can provide you a date of what complaints violate ethics.
Right. No.
And then, wait, let me. I go over that review and then I take that and I email it to the committee if it violates one of these rules. I then email it to the committee so we can meet and see if we're going to go forward with the case, because they may not agree. So then I do that. Then I send it out
So when you say you send it out,
to the respondent and the complainant.
might I suggest that if this isn't what's done currently, that once the committee decides that they're gonna move forward and listen to the complaint, that the office, Jeremy, Chris, Harriet.
Right, can I make a suggestion as well that I'm not so happy about hearing? Is that everybody has my email.
Yeah.
They have Jeremy's email. Anyone can contact me. They have my phone number. They have my email. No one contacted me and said, "Hey, Naomi, I heard my name somewhere. Can you talk to me? What's going on?" Nobody said that to me. Or Jeremy said that to me. Now, maybe Jeremy got some information and I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just stating for the record, no one contacted me to say, "Hey, I didn't get this until I didn't know, I didn't see her email, see Veronica's email, and she contacted me and I sent it to her immediately." So all I'm saying is that there were 3 months that you could have contacted me. I'm opening that to the public. You can contact, if your name is mentioned, you should contact me, and you don't have an email, I might have sent it and you didn't get it.
I am
So
not
the
disagreeing
technology
with
is
you
crazy.
in
Please
any way, shape, or form.
contact me, the chair,
I
or
am-
contact Jeanette Wilson.
I am the first one who's agreed with you on that. We
So
already
that's what
talked.
that's what I'm
And if I
stating
hear,
for the record.
and I said it at the full board, if I hear that my name was associated with something or whatever, I'm gonna jump on it and I'm gonna say, "Hey, why is my name being mentioned here? Why didn't I get this?" And if I didn't get it, you best believe I'm gonna chase you down until I get it. I'm just thinking, just in terms of procedure,
There has people.
this is not an attack on any.
No, but I just want to
saying that-
state it for the record. I want to
But
let
in
it,
order-
it's like you're saying,
in
that's
order-
perfect, what you're saying, yeah.
In order to
Just make sure.
avoid this conversation in the future,
That the office will have.
then there's a check and balance,
Okay.
you know? Ms. Delgado, I think, do you wanna, Roxanne is saying, no?
Saying what? I did not, you're not gonna get notification because we didn't vote on it, Roxanne. That's exactly what I
Vote to
stated.
review it.
Vote to review the case. We first, as a committee, have to vote to review the case. Once we say, okay, we're gonna review it, then I send out
Yes.
an email to the respondents and the complainants, letting you know that we're gonna hear your case next month. This case is against you, here's the case and what's going on.
I'm gonna show, can I say something about cadence real quick?
Sure.
So for cases 116 and 117 on January 23rd, 2025 at 10:26 p.m., Naomi sent it to Deborah Kowalik, me, Jeremy, Jeanette, Susan Perez, Cynthia Rodriguez, Chris Kirka, and Harriet Lasky. Hello, Deborah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was a notification for Debbie to know that we are reviewing the case. Please be at the next meeting, whenever this, I think it was the day before maybe. But that was that. So 118. No.
It's the day before that.
No, let me finish this quick. So for 118, that was this one that we just talked about at this meeting. It was Naomi to this committee members to say, hey, review this case. We're gonna debate it, discuss it, but not to everyone because Roxanne wasn't included because we haven't decided to review it yet. It was an internal matter.
Right.
If we hadn't moved it from this committee to full review, then all the parties would have been contacted.
Correct.
Right, so that's the cadence. That's it.
If I may, Rich,
Yep. I mean, she's the chair, not me.
Naomi, if
Yeah.
you may look at.
Yes, go ahead, Veronica.
For that email that was sent on the
January
what's it?
23rd.
23rd, that was that was after the meeting and it wasn't a notification that it was gonna be reviewed. So if it was, and Debbie would have had an opportunity to speak today.
Oh, hold on. For that, we didn't have a December meeting. We
No, we
reviewed
did
in
not.
November. We didn't have a December meeting. In
Correct.
November, we decided at that meeting to cancel.
To give you time.
No, we canceled December's meeting. In November, we canceled December's meeting and then we had our meeting January.
No, I understand that.
No.
I'm just clarifying that you said that was the notification that you were gonna review the complaint. That was not that notification. That notification, she got the complaint after you had already had the meeting and voted to go forward with the complaint. She did not have an opportunity to speak. If that had been a notification, then she would have been able to speak tonight.
But that's not a
I'm
time.
just making that clarification for what you just said. That's all it is. I'm not arguing.
Okay.
I'm just making that clarification.
But I just want to clarify that she would not be speaking at that meeting. We're voting on to hear the case in the next month. So she was notified that in February, we're going to be in January, that in February,
Yes.
we would hear the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, now that doesn't make sense.
Yes, it
No,
does.
no, and that's, we
She was notified in November that it would. be
Right, in
next month.
November, she was notified that it would be.
Right,
in January.
But she missed the
Right.
the November
I'm
meeting,
just
so.
clarifying.
Right, so I'm just clarifying that in November, you were notified, there was a meeting, and then because you weren't able to come, and then in January, we notified you again, hey, that February, we're gonna hear this case. So, like I said, I'm not gonna keep going over this. We already voted as a committee on that case, on both of those cases. We are moving forward. We're moving it to the leadership committee.
Where was the prior email?
As I said, we are not going to discuss
Because I
it.
never
As I
sent an
said,
email.
we are not going to discuss this. This is over. It is now going to leadership, and you are welcome to go to leadership and state your problem.
Yes, I was just gonna remind you, that my initial complaint was before November.
Yeah, it was
Right,
April. Yeah.
Right, and I did it in
I
public,
understand,
and I
right.
handed you, I stated it was against Debbie, and I handed you the complaint, and you said to send it to you, you took it, and you said to resend it in email.
Correct.
Which I believe I did, and then I did another complaint. So Debbie knew.
Why are student remarks only being heard if they're an interruption?
Okay.
How's
So
that fair?
Debbie was.
this is not about fair. I already stated to the full side. I already stated to the committee and the members in this room that this is over.
Let's move on.
We are finished with case 1116. We are finished with case 1117. We're going to go to the VP's office on 1118. We are finished with gallery session. Now we are moving. Any motions?
None.
Thank you. Any old business?
None.
Okay. Any new business? Wait, I got you. Anything?
I don't have
Okay.
anything.
Cynthia, you wanted to speak to us. You have 2 minutes. Jeremy, you wanted to finish your questions.
Staff.
You have 2 minutes.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
whatever.
You have 2 minutes.
When does my timer start?
Whenever you're ready, go.
Hi, sorry about that. Again, I wish this was not going this way. I really want to stress the importance of making sure that these policies and procedures are clear and that they are followed. And if they're not followed, that there is adequate recourse. Because how is it equitable that if just because something was not done right, that it is able to be steamrolled and continued through without fair treatment? How are you individualizing each case without actually equitably putting the policies and procedures that are there for a reason? How is that fair? And again, I'm not to be disparaging to the work that you do because you guys are all here in the middle of the night, as am I. I don't think any of us want to be here right now. How do you get to the point where someone who is an alleged responsible party can actually give their perspective on the situation? How can the public participate? How can the person that has indicated that their grievance participate? How do you make sure that that is fair? How do you make sure that that is actually executed thoroughly, clearly, and with these guardrails? Because that's not what's happening. Anything but that is happening. I have continued to raise my hand for the entirety of this event, and the first time that I actually interjected was just now 3 seconds ago, because I don't think it's appropriate for all these interjections. There are people interjecting that are also from the gallery. Why are they being heard? And why is there a disproportionate amount of time for that to be occurring? Why is every single comment on the WebEx being accounted for as additional time, whereas I've literally just sat here just hoping for an opportunity where I could give my
30
perspective.
seconds.
Thank you. With that in mind, I would love if we could actually take a chance to re-review this, re-review the procedure. And you know what? Maybe this doesn't belong in the ethics committee at all. Subject matter, transportation. You're supposed to go based on the City of New York's guidelines, not even Community Board 11, the City of New York's guidelines. And so if someone is being faulted for following the City of New York's guidelines for not doing their part of the application, why are they being asked to apologize? Why are they asked to be being removed? How is that fair?
5 seconds.
How do we make that distinction? And how do we go forward? How do we get this in writing?
Time. Thank you.
Jeremy?
As a staff member, not a subject of a complaint, first of all, I apologize. Normally the issue with, it's really hot in here, right?
It's fine.
Okay. Maybe that's why the temperature is so high.
It's red. Look at,
Yeah, no, my ears.
Oh, your face.
Yeah, no, it's hot. It's at 83. So I apologize for that. This is normally our land
part of
use
your time.
time. But no, it seems like a thermostat issue. I'm gonna have to call. First of all, second thing, I did get some complaints. I would like to test that. We can wait till the meeting's over. But maybe going forward, for all committee meetings, right? I made since we have the controls, a co-host, you should be able to mute all. If I mute all right now, it should mute everybody but you. And I can take away their ability to unmute themselves. So that way they have to wait until you literally click on them. So maybe we should do that going forward.
Okay,
Maybe for all committees.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. I motion for the meeting to be adjourned.
Second.
third.
Any objections? Extensions?
18.
Motion carried. Thank you. Have a great night.
Time.
8:18.
18. All right,
Thank you
so
very much.
do you mind if we test this out? Let me stop the recording. Wendy's gonna help us here.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna hear this stuff at leadership, right?
Yep.
Cool.
I'm gonna put them.
We're gonna need to see-
you.
No, there?
Here's the question.
Well, let me stop the live stream.